Welcome to I'm Creation podcast. And what are you doing now, like for your evolution as a divine feminine?
Integrating my divine masculine, that's been a big one for me. How do I have more loving relationships that support not just my family's well-being and growth? How am I showing up in these experiences? Go on a journey of seeking out experiences like yours. For a very long time, there was this period of really not knowing who I was. And yet there was something inside me so strong and so inherent that just kept saying, like, this is what you're meant to do. It was learning how to master my energy through that experience, embrace my divine femininity, to play in it as much as possible. I'm going home with not one suitcase, I've got a whole extra suitcase of tools.
Welcome to I'm Creation podcast. And today we will take you on the journey to share about divine feminine. And that's why we have the crowns. Today we are divine feminine. And I have an amazing guest here, Phoenix. And I would like her to represent herself. And also I would like her to share her story, because now we are at the I'm Creation retreat and she brought her family, her husband and her son that is just 17 years old. And I really want to hear about your experience.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I mean, this is paradise. You know, if there's any place in the world to bring your family to have this experience, you have picked the most sublime place. So I just want to say shout outs and grateful, so much gratitude. It made sense to me that in my journey, we've tried many, I want to say, ways of connecting with each other as a family. And in these times, I think for many of us, not just my family, we're finding it more and more challenging to connect because of, we say, technology, we say experiences in the world, you know, what's happening socially, economically. Change is happening at such an incredible rate. And we're feeling disconnected, especially after the pandemic. You know, something that was designed, I want to say, to help us be still. We were literally like freeze, lockdown. But in those moments, it became more painfully apparent how disconnected we were, not just from each other, but ourselves. So learning to rebuild those relationships with my family, my partner, my community, and myself, or to reimagine them, like, how do I make them better, you know, brighter? How do I have more loving relationships that support not just my family's well-being and growth, not just my own, but the greater collective? Like, how am I showing up in these experiences? And so it felt like a lot of us went through incredible moments of defeat during the pandemic. And I personally hit a number of moments where it felt I just burnt out.
Yeah.
I was out. And I mean out in like a way that I was burnt out. I tried to get myself up again, burnt out again. I tried again, and it felt like there were 3 very impactful cycles of being burnt out. And it was trying to operate from that burnt out space. And I could see the harm I was causing on myself and on others, and the impact that it was having. And so it made sense to me to leave the industry that I was in. I was working in fitness, and go on a journey of seeking out experiences like yours. and not just experiences, but energies like yours, people like yours, you know, who could tell me about what we were going through, and who could guide me and teach me, and not just me, but my family, so that I could find new ways to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you tell us more about your background, like who you are, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a really, I want to say, like everyone, it's a really complex tapestry. I feel like for so long, I identified as a mother. I'm a mother before.
Of three
I was
kids. 3 kids, mother of 3 kids.
Oh my goodness. I didn't have them yesterday. They're pretty big now.
Yeah.
So it felt like for a very long time there was this period of really not knowing who I was. And that was from, I would say, the age of 0 to 18, 19, when I learned I was pregnant. And learning that I was pregnant and that I was about to become a mother gave me this immediate sense of purpose. This is what I'm here to do. And in spite of what it looked like to anyone else and the stories of, oh my gosh, you're going to ruin your life. What are you doing? You're not prepared for this. What is my family going to say? It felt like a lot of chaos and a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty. And yet there was something inside me so strong and so inherent that just kept saying, like, this is what you're meant to do. And to have this child and to have this baby. And it was that first moment of feeling truly connected with something, I want to say, like, I have value, I know what I'm here for. Whereas up until that point, even if I had experiences of learning, and even in my own journey of finding what I believe God was in spirituality, I always felt like it was outside of me. Like, that thing has value. Oh, I want to touch that. If I could get closer to that being or that person or that being, then, that value would then somehow rub off on me, because I didn't feel like I had it inside of me. And I feel like to know you had life growing inside of you, that was transformative.
I know, I'm a mother, I know what you mean.
I mean, creating life will absolutely transform you. There's nothing like it. So to all the mothers out there, you are all creators. You are all divine. And you don't get told that. You don't get told that at the precious age of 19. Nobody says to you, amazing. Like, nobody said that to me. I mean, what was it like for you when you found out you were pregnant the first time?
Well, I was happy. Like, really, it was one of my dreams to become a mother. So I was ready because, like, I had my child when I was 32. So I was ready. I was there, conscious enough to understand what I was doing. But again, like, to give a birth, it was like, oh my God. It's another level.
Oh my God, I thought I was being ripped apart. Like, nobody prepares you for birth. And I don't want to say, like, terrifying people, but truly, even in that moment, and you're right, that word, conscious, it was not conscious. It wasn't a conscious experience becoming a mother. And, I often just say, when people say, why did you have children so young? I just answer honestly, I had sex. It was fun. There's no deeper meaning to it. And 3 incredible lights came into my life. But I feel like where the conscious came in was the act and the devotion to the pregnancy and the motherhood. Because once I found out I was pregnant, you couldn't hold me back from any book or any text, anything that I saw that had pregnancy, birth, motherhood. I just went into full learning mode. And this was before we really had, I want to say, we had access to the internet. I didn't understand how to use it as a resource, not the way we do now. And, we didn't have these helpful allied intelligences to really help us curate that.
Yes.
And that's what I call AI. I call it allied intelligence. So it made sense to me that motherhood was one of the biggest transformative experiences in my life. And it changed my perception of the world and myself and of others. And then my next journey was moving into the world of fitness, because it was something that also transformed me as a mother. Being in spaces with people who were teaching me how to move and how to have fun moving inspired me to go and give that to other people, because it gave me energy as a mother. Because I think all mothers know it is a relentless experience, whether you have one child or you have 10. They are just these energy, attention, like magnets. Like, just give me attention, give me energy. Where are you going? To the toilet. I'm coming with you. Don't leave me. What are you doing in the toilet? What I do every day. So it was learning how to master my energy through that experience. And so I realized that having these three energetic beings and raising them, and in a way, there's no wrong way to raise children. There really isn't. Every mother is doing the best that she can.
Sure.
But I feel like it is important to express, because I understand a lot of different paradigms. And in Singapore, we have helpers, these beautiful divine helpers that you can access and help mothers to navigate that world of motherhood, while they can then go and own the world, become that CEO or that boss lady or that queen of whatever dream that she wants to create. And I know that's not always accessible for all mothers around the world, and that we have aunties and uncles and grandparents and even stepfathers and stepmothers. It takes a tribe to raise children. So I was like acutely aware that in the place that I was, for whatever reason, I had decided to limit that. I limited that age, and for whatever reason, that just felt right at the time. But that meant that I was really intensely involved with these children. So, every experience I was having, I think I was more and more conscious that they were being exposed to those experiences. So it made sense to me to really curate a lot of joy for them, a lot of curiosity, a lot of adventure, a lot of movement, and learning to ask them more than tell them, because it felt like sometimes they just knew better than me. And when I really tried to make them do something like, eat that banana. No, I don't want that banana. Eat it, it's good for you. Why is it good for me? That's a good question. I don't know. I was told it was good for me. Let me go find out why it's good for you. So, they became my teachers and my guides in that journey, and it is this beautiful reciprocal relationship. So it makes sense to me that, through these streams, as I'm going through fitness and they're going through school and education, we're having these massive milestones of transformation, change, and development simultaneously as a family. It gets pretty crazy. It gets really crazy. And I think for mothers, you try to have this overview of everybody and where they're at and how they're doing with school, and you look like you don't have any friends, and why are you wearing odd socks today? Trying to navigate so much at once and hold all of these containers. And then I realized that what I was really doing, if I was to get to the heart of everything, motherhood, coach, personal trainer, group fitness instructor, inspirational speaker, whatever it was I'm holding space and allowing who and what needs to be in that space to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel embraced. So then it makes sense to me that I'm drawn to experiences like this, where I meet people like you, or I'm introduced to energies like you that do that for others with incredible intention, incredible vision, and that inspired action. You're not just saying it and expressing it, you're doing it, you're taking action. And then the transition into, for me, the realm of what we call well-being, spirituality, which to me is just another word for personal development. spirituality to me is really a deeply personal journey of one's way of finding who they are, coming back to themselves, and about all of the wonders and mysteries of the world around them. Call it the universe, call it cosmos, call it God. That's really what it is. You know, this incredible, exciting journey of being able to find yourself and find what your world means or your idea of the universe means.
And what is the world of divine feminine means for you? What is divine feminine?
Oh, mother. As soon as I heard that sacred feminine, divine feminine, mother came forward, the mother creator, it feels like this expansive love, this infinite love, you know, because mothers just hold so much. And, you know, even the way the feminine vessel is created, it's created for space. You know, we have this incredible, mysterious, magical portal called a womb that, like, people come out of this, you know, and you didn't have to buy a ticket, just come in, grow, out you come. And I feel like the divine feminine is ultimately expansive love and creation. You know, it just wants to expand, it just wants to keep going and going and going and be limitless and infinite. And whatever way that is, and there's no way to not love. So, you know, there's many representations I feel of feminine energy where, you know, it can be seen as, I want to say negative, you know, the wildness and femininity, like you said to me, why are you wearing your boots? Don't put them on the table. And the first thing I thought, now I want to put them on the table because you said that. I want to do that because I just want to see what happens, you know. And that divine feminine creativity, creation is limitless. It's so expansive and it leads to innovation. You know, it's evolution. If we did not have the divine feminine and allow the divine feminine to come forward, we could not evolve. And I really feel like this is where we are in our cycle. It's this incredible calling for evolution in a very powerful, rapid way. Like, let's evolve, let's go, guys.
And what are you doing now, like, for your evolution as a divine feminine?
I love that. Integrating my divine masculine. So that's been a big one for me because it feels like it made sense to me, especially in some of the realms that I was in, like fitness. These were very masculine energy oriented systems, which was always a struggle because even the language spoke to the masculine. And we were, I think a lot of women knew that we were instrumental in advocating for changes, whether they were subtle or whether they were large, to, you know, body positivity, you know, reframing of how we were marketing and advertising, you know, things that never made sense, like burn off that pizza, sweat is fat crying. Well, that's not how you burn off a pizza, and pizzas are amazing, but sweat is not actually fat crying. So, you know, things that were designed, I want to say, to target specifically feminine insecurities. I mean, they were speaking to the wounded feminine and, I want to say, exploiting those parts of us. So, you know, learning to navigate that territory sometimes felt like I needed to go into this real masculine energy, and even, you know, the musculature of my body, which I love now, would sometimes be very threatening or intimidating, you know, the way that people would respond to my energy. So I learned that I had to go on a journey. I didn't have to, I got to go on a journey of exploring what womanhood and femininity meant to me. And through that, it was realizing as well that I could integrate my feminine and masculine parts, because for a while I became afraid to be masculine. I became afraid to speak up, and I became a lot more like submissive and a lot more, okay, all right, if that's what you want to do, which was, you know, again, not wrong, but it was just to understand that I was afraid, and that awareness of when I'm operating from that space of fear, I'm actually not loving myself. I'm restricting myself. So now the journey for me is to embrace my divine femininity, to play in it as much as possible. And I think play is a big thing for me. Play and joy and that wildness, and integrate my masculine energy. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to see where this leads me.
Let's see. I hope this experience brought a lot of like clarity and tools for you to embrace your masculine, and also continue to play with your feminine and inspire people to be creative, to be in their feminine, and like really inspire people to create. And thank you very much for the crowns. I feel like I'm a creator and queen.
You have done an extraordinary job of harmonizing the masculine and feminine in this experience. So when you mention tools, I want to honor and say thank you. I feel like I'm going home with not one suitcase, I've got a whole extra suitcase of tools and
I hope they will not charge you more in the airport.
I'll put it on your bill.
I love you.